Hey guys! So I was thinking that today we would go back to more of my life stories. Mostly I feel like the best stories are when I've messed up. So let's go. When I was still in high school, I was just taking flute lessons on the side privately. My teacher had a pretty darn big studio. So we would have these annual flute studio recitals. For those of you who are in private lessons, your teacher probably does something like this. They'll like rent a small church. You guys each have to prepare one piece of repertoire. My teacher normally never required us to memorize. And I can't remember why I did, but for some reason I decided to memorize my music. I have the music in front of me. I actually dug it up for you guys. This is the Andante Pastorale El Scherzettino by Paul Tafnel. So it's one of those like French flute pieces. For those of you who have played this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Very moody and dark and lovely. I was super prepared for this studio recital. It feels weird for me to say that because I often feel unprepared for everything, even when I do practice. That is a whole topic for another video. If you guys want me to make another video about imposter syndrome, which I definitely suffer from, let me know. But anyway, this particular time, I felt extremely prepared. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I got this down, got it all memorized. You know, I was reviewing my music and be like, yeah, I know that. I totally know that. Went up to play and I had a pianist with me. So we stopped playing. I can't exactly remember which line it was, somewhere in the middle here. In my head, I could literally read the music off in my brain, except for one line. Luckily, I knew the piano cues before and after that section, but just for that one whole line, I just completely blanked. The worst part was playing up to that point and knowing that you can read everything off in your brain, but knowing that you are getting closer and closer to that point, to that one line, that you have no idea what the heck is going on. On top of that feeling, I had to still emote because this piece here is very emo. It's very emo. Let me play a bit for you. There's like a little prelude first, and then this is the second part where the Andante Pastorale actually happens. By the way, that was only one take because I don't have a lot of time to film right now. Get it? Very dark, very introspective. I had to emote all of that while internally freaking out that I have forgotten the very next line. So it ended up coming out something more like this. Yeah, when I was up there, I was like, you know what? I can't go get my music. It's too late now. I'm just gonna have to make crap up. Any way I try to fix it while on stage is going to come out at some level of bad. There's no going back. While freaking out, I did manage to think to myself, most of the people in this room probably don't actually know this piece because a lot of them are kids and a lot of them were like the parents of the kids, and not everyone knew more advanced flute music. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just going to make crap up and I'm just gonna emote straight through it. I think it came across more like this. There were a couple times though when I almost flinched on stage because the note I hit clashed with the chord that the pianist was playing. But I just held on through because I was like, I know what the next line is and I know what the pianist is playing in the next line and I can just jump right in, which I did, and then the rest of it was completely fine. I remember finishing the piece and then just being like, oh my god, I nailed 90% of it. And then that 10% was just complete crap. There's different ways of nailing something 90% where like maybe you got one note wrong there, and then maybe one trill there was a little funky, and maybe like right here your tone was a little weird. That kind of 10% not really great is a lot more bearable than straight up nailing 100%, 90%, and then for the last 10% you just completely butcher it. And people came up to me and were like, yeah, that was so great. I just kind of smiled, you know, to everyone. But then in the midst of people coming up to me to congratulate me for doing what they thought was a good job, the sister of one of my fellow studio classmates came up to me and told me, hey, you did a really good job. This sister was also a pianist. To be complimented by another musician who is the same age and around the same level, I just felt like, you know what, I can't keep up the pretense. I have to just admit what I did. So I told her, you know, actually, I completely made up one line. To my complete surprise, she was like, oh, that's what happened. I just thought you were just really into the music. She did mention to me that she felt like it was a little different from how she remembered the piece because she usually accompanies her sister. She knew this piece as well. And I was just blown away that a person who knows this piece thought that me making it up for a line was actually not half bad. So what I am saying is just to tell you guys that as long as you perform 110% on stage, even if you have no idea what you're doing, as long as you emote and you just get right into it and you make stuff up even when you don't know how to improvise, because at that point I did not know how to improvise, you can get away with basically completely murdering the piece. It's very much this fake it till you make it mentality. You don't want to fake everything. Next week, I'm going to talk about the one time I did not fake it in my music career. There are times that you need to do what needs to be done and you can't just sort of like perform through it. But I would say 95% of the musical career involves you just performing through it. There can be people who are technically extremely genius level impressive, but if they don't emote through their playing, you as the audience can't connect to them. Apparently, according to this pianist girl that I was talking to, I was able to connect with the people listening to me even though I was completely murdering the piece. She said that it affected her. I believe she mentioned that the piece came alive through the way that I played. Honestly, I feel like that is the best compliment you can get from performing. So whether or not you completely busted a portion of the piece, as long as you somehow connected, if you established a connection with your audience, that performance is a success. Some people might think like, wow, that's totally unfair, you know, to the people who have got it technically down. I think we need to keep in mind that music is a balance of technical prowess and really understanding the depth of the music that you are playing. Understanding it, living it, emoting it out to your audience. If you only have the technical part, you're going to play like a robot. But if you only play with emotions, with no technical foundation under you, everything you play is going to be so messy that it will distract from what you're trying to emote. You gotta strike a balance. And sometimes that balance means that you will do harrowing things like make up music that you've forgotten, but make it up in a way that still matches the piece you're playing. So there we go. That is yet another life story from my musical career. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from it. Let me know if you guys have similar stories in the comments below. I would love to read your stories. I love it when I see you guys sharing and encouraging each other. Makes my day. But as usual, if you guys like this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and hit subscribe for new videos every Saturday. My last video is over there, and if you want to catch me during the week, my social media networks are down there. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Bye. Went up to play and I had a pianist with me. She was the same pianist who performed with me when I did that one competition where the flute nearly slipped out of my hands. Actually, it totally did, and I caught it midair, and she totally didn't even notice. This was the same pianist, fantastic pianist. She's been through a lot with me.